Good morning. Hope you're doing well. How was everybody's Thanksgiving? Well, I apologize. I have had technical difficulties this morning. It has been a little bit of a crazy day, and I'm still trying to get a few things to work, but we're going to get there. We are going to get there, I promise. But I would love for you guys to begin inviting some people to join us this morning. Who are you thinking about that would really love to hear the message of what's the right way to say it? Um, Focusing on an abundant life for 2026 versus maybe digging out of the scarcity that they've been a part of, or um, I don't know, maybe just a little bit of frustration in their life. But who are those people? Who on your team would love to think and focus maybe more abundantly? And really, in a simple way, I think the way to say it is we need to look forwards, not backwards, to find where we want to land. Does that make sense? I know I'm not going to name members in my family, but I've had members in my family that were amazing, positive influencers on my life that also kept digging in the past, trying to fix the future. They never got there. They spent a life digging, trying to find a relic, a cure, a relationship to blame. Many times, multiple generations in the past that were dead, they would hear stories. But do you all have people like that in your life where they live? I'd call it a victim mentality. If they never want to look forward, they just look backwards. But let's invite those people, and I want to give you a thought for this morning. Um, I want you to make those people in your life, even if you don't feel like they're at a place you want to mimic or model. I want you to make them the hero for 2026. And I want you to be the guide. They're the hero because that's what's going to build trust. That you let them be the hero and you be their guide, okay? Let's look at we have a few slides here. Let's look at some slides and think about. I'm going to rearrange this just for a minute. This is gotten kooky. Hold on. I don't know why. Some of you, if you got on and then I had to reboot, I'm sorry. Something just totally happened with the computer, and it was not like wanting to cooperate this morning. So we'll just go from here. I'm not going to try and tinker with it too much. I might mess something else up. But I want us to get to a place before we get off this call. We're talking about starting December well. Let me give you maybe 3 important things about making sure this month starts off well. Today's the 3rd, so we're just barely into the month. And these kind of relate to the questions that I've used in the past, but it's know where you are. How did you finish last month? Where are you starting this month? What's your baseline that you're starting from? I want you to have some goals and know where you're going. It's interesting how many people can just wander. Good morning, Rhonda. I hope Tammy can join us. Rhonda, congratulations on your new QSSC. That's amazing. So yeah, where are you? Tell us where you're calling in from. But let me keep going here. I lost my train of thought because I saw Rhonda joined us, and she's a sparkle in my life. So know where you're going, know where you are, know where you're going. And how do you know where you're going? Well, you need to get on the phone, Zoom with somebody that's more experienced, your upline, someone you consider your mentor, maybe a more senior, a more experienced person. And what I want you to do is I want you to reach out to them, and together, they don't need to tell you. Remember, you're the hero and they're going to be your guide. They're not going to tell you what your goals are, but you're going to discuss your why, your purpose, and figure out what staring at you this month can be a bite or a chunk out of that purpose or why. Okay, so know where you are, know where you're going. And number 3 important things. I want you to write them down. Know where you are, know where you're going this month. And then I want you to gather and utilize all the tools and resources that are available to help get you there. And that's events. That's learning how to use social media. That's utilizing your upline on three-way calls. That's understanding the incentives and the things that are special this month that you can utilize. You need to know all three of those things, okay? And if you don't, write those three things down. And when we get off the call today, call your upline, get with them, set your goals, and make sure that they help you know and gather all your resources. Know where you are. Where do you stand right now? That'll help you establish what your goals need to be. Number two is know where you're going. Number three is gather and utilize all the resources and tools that are available to you to help you get there. Most of them are on boards. If you're not using boards, you need to be on boards, okay? But let's talk about maybe why you are where you are. Do you have some fears? Is something frightening you? Is technology, the brokenness of it, the frustration of it? How many of you would like, say, the digital cluster, let's just name it, let's just call it a cluster that we went through the last 2 years? And it really, I mean, what I'm afraid of is some of you got so frustrated by the cluster that it was, the transition was not good, that either it made you fearful to mess with it or you gave up. And it's so much better now. So I want you to get that out. You need to vomit out that fear of technology, that fear of frustration that something's not going to work. Just because it didn't work 90 days ago doesn't mean it's not fixed. It's not perfect, guys, but it's working well. We had the biggest and best Black Friday we've ever had because we had technology that can do some things that we could never do before. Okay? So do you have a fear in your business right now in your ability to depend on and use technology? If you do, you can raise your hand, you can call me, you can Voxer me, we can talk through that. Because I'm not going to make you feel like it's perfect, but I'm going to make you feel like it's perfectly ready to use. Okay? Do you have a fear right now in your ability to, maybe you feel like you heard somebody at conference and you've got to be on TikTok dancing and strutting around and to get customers. You don't. If I had to do that, I probably would fear my ability also. Fear my ability and my appeal to other people to watch me on video. So don't worry about not having that ability. Some are gifted there, some aren't. But you have everything in you. God gave you what you need, the resources in you. You just need to put it all to use. And each of us are going to do that differently. If most of the men that I've got in the business, if someone had told them they had to do salad and jar parties the rest of their life, or wine and wellness, or something where you go get your toenails done and you talk over a biscuit and tea or something, the guys aren't going to do that. So you don't have to be willing to do that. What's your belief? Is your belief stopping you? There were some times when we were in transition without a CEO, when I saw almost my second dad, Jay Martin, that influenced me so much. When I saw him get into his 80s and begin to get some of the signs of aging and dementia and those kind of things, and he couldn't run the company anymore, and we were without a CEO, there were moments when I didn't have belief, but now that Travis is here, he's restored all that. We have an amazing CEO. Where do you have fear in your business? Is it in your ability to be a leader or in the leadership you trust? Do you have a fear of failure? Do you fear that you're going to fail? Do you fear rejection? So many of us that have never done something like this, we do fear rejection. So that's one of the problems. And so when you have fear, which to me, the opposite of fear is faith. So faith and fear are on polar opposites. Faith, when you believe and you're willing to move forward. Fear is when you're afraid and you're holding back. And I think that connects with this mindset, this paradigm shift that I want you to have. Because I want you to go into this new year in a special place. What I'd love to do is for us to get off this call today. And not that I'm going to fix everything. Or not that I'm going to be this truth soothsayer. Yes, I am this old man with white hair. But I'm not thinking I'm going to bring this wisdom into your life that's going to just automatically change things. But I do think together we can maybe get rid of some stinking thinking and we can enter into this new year with a whole new attitude. Now, we're talking about the month of December. So, give me some latitude here to talk about finishing a year and starting a new year. But all of these things are things that if you don't establish this at year end, you're not going to start with them next year. So in the month of December, we're going to start December. And December can't totally change your year, but do you know that December still could be the best month of your year? Think about that. And I got some tools to tell you about that before we get off the call. But so faith and fear are opposites, and if you're going to operate in faith and belief and go to places you've not been before, and you've said to God, I'm going to give it my all. What's that verse? I found it earlier today. Let me see if I can find it again. Oh shoot, I don't have it handy. But when you do something, God wants us to give our all. He wants us to give 100%. And so you can't do that if you're trying to squeeze the blood out of the turnip. Are you trying to just manage what you have and get every little bit out of what you have, whether it's business, time, savings, last leg on your car, whatever it might be? Are you cooped up trying to operate and protect your asset? Are you willing to go out there and build something and grow and have the faith that you're doing what God's called you to do in your life, and this business is a vehicle to help you get there? Because abundance, you need to define it, but abundance is not, it's not fancy watches and cars and houses and gold, although that's how the world would define it. Abundance is knowing that you are living out of freedom and you're heading in the right direction and you're living out of God's resources. He owns it all anyway. Okay. So if you have a scarcity mindset, and I could help you just think about the abundance that's ahead of you, not the scarcity that's creating the fear of what's behind you. Because that scarcity mindset is because you're staring backwards and you don't have any confidence in the future. The abundant mindset is only going to come as we look ahead. So I have to ask you another question. We're going to get rid of this we're going to work on getting rid of this stinking thinking. We're going to start December and we're going to get rid of this stinking thinking. So we're going to get rid of that scarcity mindset. But let me ask you a question, because I need to know what role you might be playing. What are you allowing yourself to live out as? Are you, in your situation, are you living in that scarcity mindset because you see yourself as a victim of your circumstances? And I don't want you to think, we're trying to get to a better place. So what I don't want you to think is, I don't want you to think that labeling and deciding you're in a bad place. I don't want you to think that labeling and deciding you're in a bad place is negative. I want you to think labeling and deciding where you are is the beginning of you getting better. So all of us, maybe we're willing to admit it, maybe we're not. Maybe you are a victim in some way right now. Are you a victim of what COVID did to you and your family? Are you a victim of some kind of personal problem or health crisis that's going on in your family or around you? Maybe a marriage crisis, maybe something going on with your kids or grandkids. And instead of you tackling that and seeing the abundance that's in the windshield, you're being the victim because of what it's doing to you in the present and in the past. Isn't it so cool those two words are so close? Victim or victor. I mean, think about how the roots of those are so similar, but they're two totally different mindsets, and we're living that out differently. So I don't want you to be a victim. And if you are, maybe you need to talk. Maybe you need to talk to me, talk to your upline. We've got to get you out of that place, because guess what? If you're going to build a business and you're going to attract and build a team, how many people do you know that will want to go join a victim or someone who has a victim mentality? Who's going to want to go join them on the journey they're on? Or someone who's a victor and who's overcoming and sees life through an abundant lens, through God's lens, who's going to want to join that person to be on that journey to more victory? So if you're in that victim role right now, it's okay, because the first step is recognizing it. We got to get you out of that. John Maxwell, because you want to be a leader, and victims aren't going to live up to John Maxwell's definition of leader. John Maxwell, the way he simply says it, here's the quotes on the screen, but what I've always quoted him as saying is leaders have followers. You're not a leader if you don't have a follower. His exact quote is, he who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. He who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. And you know what? You can be a victim and go take a walk. You can't be a victim and go lead a bunch of people, because they don't want to follow you. Here's another statement I wanted you to listen to. Ask yourself who you would follow, and then ask yourself, are you worth following? That's what we have to change. For you to live in abundance, we have to get you on the right track before you're going to be able to attract people to join you. Maybe you're struggling building a team right now. Have you ever thought about why? Have you ever thought about, I can sell this product, but I can't recruit? Well, why? Well, if you were to step outside of your body, just step outside yourself, like you could be hovering up here in the air, looking down on you, looking down on your life for a minute. Just pretend with me for a minute. I wish we could really do that. So you withdrawn, and now you're an observer. Would yourself that's observing you, we're going to get confused here, but there are two yous in this scenario. There's the observer, and then there's you living your life out. And the question is, would the observer want to follow what they're watching? I did I got to talk on a call for a minute the other day. I guess it was Kerry Daigle's call or something. And I spent a little bit of time before that call thinking about calendars, time, and events. And, as you're thinking about, are you worth following? Why don't you evaluate that? But why don't you take out your calendar, challenge you. When you coach somebody and they're frustrated or they're in a bad place, one of the things you can do is get their calendar out and see what they've been doing. Look at what they've done the last 30, 60, 90 days. Because, one of my favorite heroes and entrepreneurs and people that I study, and you might want to do it someday yourself, people that I study about growth and empowering the next generation of leaders. One of my favorites is the Apostle Paul. You may think I'm going to get religious on you here for a minute, and that's okay if you do, but it's really just history. It was, he was delivering on a divine calling of his life. But what Paul did was he took a message of the gospel, he built the church, and then he multiplied his message. Before there were tennis shoes, fax machines, motorized vehicles, telephones, anything, they had sandals, scrolls, letters, and donkeys, and they had to expand this message. And, what he started to build 2,000 years ago is, it's the largest religion in the world, Christianity. There are over 2 billion people. And so wouldn't you want to follow somebody who had built an organization of 2 billion people? Sounds good to me. So one of the things that I learned is so you take that calendar somebody has, and maybe that calendar is their idol. And, do y'all know anybody that whether they use a paper calendar or use an Apple calendar or whatever, a Google calendar, you can still highlight, I know Lori, my wife, she loves to she has a bunch of calendars, and they're different colors. So she can see, maybe it's a calendar for the dogs, and one for the family, and one for vacations, and one for her personal calendar, and one for things that she and I do together. And, but it looks cool. She's got it all color coded and stuff. But if you've ever somebody got a paper calendar and it's highlighted, it's gorgeous. It looks like a piece of artwork. but you don't see productivity. And you know what Paul said when he was leading this amazing movement, one of the cities where he had decided to go build his business or expand the church was a city called Thessalonica. And there were some great people there. There actually were a lot of type A busy people in that town. And when he came back, he saw no fruit from their activity. There were nothing productive or good or right was coming out of this amazing group of people. And when he was correcting them, disciplining them, teaching them, critiquing them, they said, "Paul, look how busy we are. I mean, look how colorful our calendar is. Look how many Zooms we've done. I mean, we've printed business cards and given them out to 30 people, and we are studying the microbiome every day." And Paul says, "Yeah, you're busy, but you're busy about the wrong things." So sometimes you got to go look at your calendar to see if you're worth following. Are you just a busybody? Who wants to follow? If someone discovers you're a busybody and that busyness is your idol and that you think you're productive because you're busy, whoa, it's more transparent than you think. You're productive because you are like a river with the force of water driving towards its destiny, and people can see you're moving towards a destination that's great and wonderful and where you want to go. But what if they saw you in a pond just stirring the current? That's what the busyness would look like. You're not getting anywhere, but the water's moving. It's just round and round. You're just stirring it. You're kicking your feet. You're not going anywhere. So some of you have made busyness your idol. I mean, I've been at that place in my life before. So admit it. It's okay. But that probably means you're not worth following. So there are a lot of reasons you might not be worth following. But think about that, okay? Here, next, let me go to the next slide. But real change moves from the inside out, and it's going to start with you. If you want to start recruiting, then why don't you make yourself more worth following? I mean, who's going to go to a doctor that looks and acts and exhibits unhealthiness? I mean, never exercises. He's got a box of donuts on his desk when you go to see him. I mean, it's the cleanliness doesn't seem to be there. I mean, there are just things about people that are in certain practices and professions that you're going to say, no, I can't follow him. I can't do business with him. And that's why I wanted you to ask this question. Are you worth following? I'm not saying you're as bad as that doctor I described. I'm just saying there are probably some things that you could change about you. And the reason I'm doing this right here in December is this is my favorite time of year because it does seem like the hustle and bustle of the world slows down for a moment once you get the gifts that are more gifts than you need to buy just because you're supposed to buy gifts. And I hate that too. We all love to get gifts. We love to give gifts. It's a joy to see our grandkids open gifts. But then you think about the amount of money we spend on gifts just because that's what you're supposed to do is buy gifts. It kind of like sheds a light on that. But once you get past that and you feel like you're ready for Christmas, there's a moment when you can go, this year's been different. There's like, I need to go back to a paper calendar, or, my quiet time really sucked. I mean, I had moments when it was good, but I get up and I get on my phone, or I get up and I don't get up and fuel my day. I let the crazy news and stuff just influence me too much. And then when I meet people and I have coffee and I come across people, I don't have the good inside me to pour out that makes me attractive to them. And I could go on and on. We could talk about all kinds of things, but why don't you all, and I'm going to pause for a minute because I'd love to see this. What is one thing that you all would like, because there's a bunch of you on here. What is one thing that you'd like to change about you that would make you more attractive to people to join you on your mission of being healthier and on your mission of inspiring other people to be healthier? What's one thing you would change about yourself if you could change it like that? Let's say We're not talking, money's not the issue. You've got to make the time to do it. You got to make it a priority. What's one thing you would change? I want to see some things. Melinda, she says paper exclamation point. Yeah, I'm going to give y'all some time to answer. What's one thing that you would change that would make you more attractive, that would make you more worth following? I want to see some stuff here. Man, when I put you guys on the spot and ask a question, y'all are Melinda's fascinated that I'm interested in paper, but I have the last 4 books I've read the real paper books. I haven't used Audible. I haven't used a Kindle. I haven't read them online. I've gotten the old-fashioned highlighter out, and I've gotten so much out of these 4 books that I read in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to try and read. My goal is to try and read at least 1, hopefully 2 books a week this next year. Okay, well, nobody is interested in telling me. I guess everybody's perfect. Nobody on here needs to change, has any desire to change, has anything that they would like to make better about themselves for 2026. Okay. All right. What is that? So Chris Fisher says she want to have shorter stories. Okay. A few of you are coming now. Christy says to not be so insecure. Those are good things. I mean, don't be afraid to share them. Okay. I'll move on because I must have scared you guys to death. I know. I want Rhonda to sparkle more because her sparkles lighten my life up. So I like Rhonda's sparkles. Maybe you need new. Maybe you could go to lithium-ion batteries, Rhonda, so you could sparkle brighter for more people. Maybe that would be something good you could do. I don't know, but I love Rhonda. I love Rhonda. She's a sparkle in my life. So real change moves from the inside out. It's not all exterior things. And some of them don't cost a dime and don't involve you buying anything. It's a mindset that you got to change to make yourself more attractive. Okay. All right. I love this one. So this month, this year, this next year, if you want to be more abundant, can anybody guess the principle I'm about to teach you? Does anybody know? What's that on the left? It looks like a spoonful of turmeric. I don't know where Trey found that picture, but I know there's a little bottle of turmeric in our cabinet upstairs that we put in our smoothies and stuff, and it looks exactly like that. So let's say that's a teaspoonful of turmeric. On the right, what is that? Shovel in the dirt? Okay. The scarcity mindset says, I got to go grab my little bitty spoon and begin to take one bite at a time. The abundance mindset says, I learned when I was younger that when you've got something big you want to do, like eat an elephant, I know the answer is, how do you eat an elephant? I know the answer is one bite at a time. But I'm making a decision right now for the rest of this year to make December amazing, and for 2026, I'm making a decision right now that I'm going to make the bites that I take of that elephant. It's going to be shovel size, not teaspoon size. You see, the principle is true. Nobody said that you can change the principle. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But also, nobody tells you how big your spoon can be. Are you willing to increase your spoon size as your evidence of living abundantly and being worth following? Or are you going to keep your teaspoon and just dig away at little bitty bites where no one sees you're gaining ground? Are you willing to increase your capacity? Are you willing to create the capacity of the steps you take so that it's more evident to those around you that you're gaining ground, that you're moving towards your target, and they're going to want to join you because you know how to use the right tool to get the right results and take chunks out of what's ahead of you so you can reach your goal? What's your attitude going to be for the rest of this year? What are you going to take to close out this month and start next year? Okay, I got to keep going forward here. We're going to run out of time. So that's an abundance mindset, okay? I'm going to skip that slide. We already talked about that. But I want to talk about a couple things, and I'm going to change screens here on you because I want to show you something. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'm going to do this anyway. In fact, see if I can pull this up. I need to go to my photos, and I want to talk to you about something that's going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, let me make this. I need to go to a different size. Can I do iPad? I don't understand why that's not working. Let me just go to see if I can make this work. Okay, you can see the most of it. So I would like for each of you all to know about a tool. Remember that first, the three things I told you to write down in the beginning? To know where you are, know where you're going, and make sure you're about that journey. You know where you're going, that your destination is worth arriving at, and make the process and journey you're on to make sure you're worth following. And then I told you to gather all the tools and utilize all the resources that are available to you. So, y'all are Hope's asking some great questions, and y'all are so quiet today. It's okay. Terry Luongo wants to be better at her quiet time. Hey, Terry. Cheryl Agnew Landers. She wants to work on her time management to make herself more attractive. She wants her to make herself more worthy of following. I'm taking a moment here because I want us to look at these. Terry, when she says quiet time, that means she wants to fill her. In my mind, what I'm hearing Terry say, and I've known Terry for a long time. She's an amazing leader. What I'm hearing Terry say is she wants to be more dedicated to having a full tank that she can give out. If you have that quiet time in the morning, she's filling herself up and equipping herself for the journey so that she's more available to those that want to follow her. Melinda wants to listen more. Yeah, the whole 2 ears and 1 mouth thing just is constantly something we got to work on. Karen Quirk wants to reach out more. I just want to go over there. I just want to see these more concise communicating. Speak more words of life and possibility. Not what is going on with my personal life. I'm not sure what that means, Carolyn, but it sounds like you got a grip on it. What would my mom say, Terry? She would say, bring a dump truck, not a shovel to the beach. You're right. She would say, there is a tide at the lives of men when taken at its fullest, great fortunes doth produce. I mean, I actually told that story, Terry, and I said, my mom would say, we need a front end loader or a bulldozer. You're right. She's right. She would say dump truck. But we're going to do something for you guys. And let me tell you this. I mean, and Terry was on a leadership call, and I think Cheryl was probably on there too, and maybe Rhonda, that we did. And we talked about how we want to implement and what's the right word? Strategize, really welcoming all of our people into the new year. And I know Terry and Abby have an amazing group that they utilized, and they draw thousands in. And so do many of you. I'm sure Rhonda does, but whether you're a leader or you're someone right now that you're depending on a bigger leader because you're at the infancy of your business. So make sure you're utilizing the resource that your leader puts forth to you, because your leader will probably be in this group and grabbing resources for you. But if you don't have a place to go, and there's no requirements, I'm not in this downline or that downline, but there are two people that I admire a lot that have youthful energy and zeal, and they're on my team. They're under Amy Getz, under Melissa Quayle, and she's one of the newest NMDs. One of them is Kirsty Claimer. They did something with gut health in October, and we are going to take that, and we're going to do something called the Wellness Reset. Okay. And I'm sure Terry and Abby will come in here and grab stuff and take it back to their group. So make sure you're working with your leader. But if you don't have a place, starting January the 5th through February the 3rd, and this group will open up on December 26th, the day after Christmas. We're going to have 30 days of amazing training from amazing people, healthcare professionals, fitness professionals, cooks and chefs, and grandmoms and granddads and nurses and physical therapists and oncology nurses. I mean, a variety of people coming in and sharing everything from gut health to stress. Catherine Lee's going to talk about stress. We got somebody this morning just committed to doing a talk on the gut and gut health. Every day there's going to be a major leader in that field going live in this group. And we want your people to be a part of that community. It's 30 days of us bonding together, pouring into each other, and seeing how Juice Plus bridges the gap. To grab Juice Plus, whether it's the Super Biome or the Complete or the Essential Capsules, to start this new year, not only with something to bridge the gap, but with a community to hold you accountable. Okay. So more details to come. This Friday, we're going to do, me and Christy and Ethany, we're going to do a live power hour and share with you what all the topics are and help you build a list of 3 to 5 people for each of those 30 topics that you could invite to join you to kick off the new year. So that's a tool that's at your fingertips that you can utilize this up and coming season. Okay, so more to come about that. On the 17th, we're going to do our final event about focusing on making it the best year ever. So this will wrap up 25, but also kick off accelerating into 2026. And Debbie Walton and a doctor and myself, and there'll be a flyer with the speakers coming soon, but that's going to be in the evening of the 17th. So make sure you're a part of that, and you can go to, I think on our website, I hope you can put that, isn't it? makealife.com/BYE or BYE 2025 or something. You can go there. There's some new podcast episodes that have just come out about abundance, about gratitude, about having the faith to endure the journey that Trey Bowden and I have just finished, and they're awesome. This was a really interesting podcast, and Alexis Besselman is an amazing young mom with fortitude, with drive, zeal, and vigor in her life. And she got on the podcast with me, and she talked about what is it like to be a single mom of 5 and an entrepreneur, and funding the family of 5 as an entrepreneur. What does it take to have the fortitude to see your family and your kids and your busyness is the reason you're doing this business, not the excuse as to why you can't do this business? Super different. Okay. So that's amazing. We have a little cattle prod that someone showed me how to use. And this little cattle prod, it comes out every Monday morning, and it just kind of pokes you. No, it's painless, I promise. It's a text message, actually. You can stop it whenever you want to, but you can add your kids to this, your spouse to this, your team to this. All it is just my little way of saying, hey, Rhonda, it's 8:00, it's Monday. Here's a little inspiration, because I know you, and you've said you want to be proactive and you want to make this week what you want it to be. You don't want to let this week just happen. It's a little poke to remind you to plan your week, to seize that moment where the next 5 days you're taking charge. You're not letting the world take charge of your schedule, your space the next few days. Okay. So you can text wake up to that number, and it'll put you in that text group. We have our power hour this Friday. That's what I was telling you about. The focus of that power hour is going to be who's it for, and how do I take advantage of the wellness reset that launches January the 5th? Okay. All those things. You need to know all those things. And if you need to grab me for anything, you can. This is optional message if you want to close your ears. This is a biblical message that's been on my heart, and something I'm going to do in January. I've given out about 75 of these books, but I just want to tell you this. This is for the men in your life, whether it's your spouse or a team member. But I read probably the book that's the greatest book I've ever read except the Bible. And it's called Stand Firm and Act Like Men. And it's by Joby Martin and Charles Martin. And Charles Martin is my friend. He's Catherine Lee's friend. And the premise of the book is you need to be the man that God designed you to be, not the man the world tells you you are. and it's so good. So sometime in mid-January, um, around the middle of the month, I'm getting dates set up. It's going to either be a 6 or 8 weeks. Every Sunday night, all the men are invited to join me. We're going to spend 6 to 8 weeks putting a flag in the ground, putting a stake in the ground, going over this book and deciding we're going to be the men that God called us to be for our homes, for our spouses, for our kids, for our grandkids. We're going to stop letting the world describe what we're to be as a man. And so, if you've got any men in your life, whether it's a child, a grandchild, a spouse, or a team member that would like to join us, I would love for them to be a part of it. I think the author's going to join us maybe one week or at least by video. I'm working on that, trying to work on the schedule to get him in there. He's willing. It's just a scheduling thing. I think Tommy Newberry's going to join us, and it's going to be amazing. And so that's going to be awesome. Now, I see some of you asking about graphics. So you missed the ones for the 10th and 17th. What did you, let's see, which graphics are you looking for? Where are graphics for December events located? Okay. Are you looking at this right here, Melinda? Is that what you want to know? Oh, I'm sorry. The 17th is the best year ever. I think Hope, she wants to know where the graphics are for the Accelerate 2026 event at 7 p.m. And Melinda, just so you'll know, and everybody, on the 17th, that's normally the Wednesday that we would be doing the Finish Strong call because of Christmas. But we're combining our Wednesday morning Finish Strong with our evening event. So we're going to do both in that one event on Wednesday night, the 17th. Okay. So there will not be a morning Finish Strong event this month. It's going to be combined with that evening event. But I'm so excited about how this year is coming to a close. I would love to hear from you guys. If any of you all have come up, maybe some of you do the what's your word for the new year? I'll tell you, I have two that I'm struggling with picking which one. And you're going to think I'm crazy because they may seem like polar opposites to you. But the two words I'm struggling to decide which one is best. One of them is abundance, and the other one is contentment. Isn't that crazy? I feel like I'm trying to describe relaxed intensity to you, but both those words are not opposites, because abundance doesn't mean you're a hedon constantly desiring more. To me, abundance and living abundantly is a mindset. It's not a pile of something or amount of gold in a deposit box or the newness of your car. Abundant living is a mindset, as is a mindset of contentment. When you always want more, and you want more of the wrong things, it's just like if you get in this business and your goal is money. Once you hit that goal, then that amount of money is not enough, and you want more. What if you made your goal in this business? I want this business to enable me to do blank. I want to send my kids to private school. I want to be able to not work 5 days a week because I want to be available to do something in ministry or a calling in my life. Or I know there are people on this line, I'm not going to name them, that they want to give, whether it's a give an asset away or they want to be able to be more generous. What if it's you've got family that are sick or in a certain situation and you want to be able to care for them? It's interesting how when people's goals are about being more available, being less stressed, being able to build stronger relationships, and your goals involve people instead of balances and accounts and cars and things. I read a book yesterday. Let me tell you, I read this book, and the book was summed up in 7 words. Let me find there's 7 words that summed up this book, and I sent them to my friend. Hold on, you'll like this. Hold on one second. It's worth the wait, I promise. Hold on. There's 7 words to describe this. Here we go. Here it is. Okay, this book I read is called From Strength to Strength by Arthur Brooks. It's amazing. Let me summarize the whole book for you. This would be a good thought for 2026 for all of us. This is an abundant mindset. Use things. So you use things. Second, you love people. And you worship the Lord. 7 words. Use things. You don't use people. You don't use God. You use things. You love people. And you only worship one thing. You worship the Lord. Those 7 words summed up this book I read. It was absolutely amazing. So I am hoping that right now that you're going to take advantage of the things the company's laid out there for us. We've extended our subscription offering so that you can get people equipped and ready for the reset. It's called Get Set. It's in boards. And I know the recording, Rhonda or Melinda, I haven't seen the recording, or Terry, I haven't seen the recording of Tuesday's call yet. It should be out probably today, or it may be out. I haven't checked Voxer a whole lot this morning. I have a little bit. But there'll be you need to watch the recording from the December kickoff. But the Get Set program is everything that's on subscription. Just like during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, you get the free Luminate in the water bottle. The 25% off is gone. That was Black Friday, Cyber Monday only. But the subscription special is there to get people equipped and ready for the reset. And let me give you a tip here. Don't tell people they can't eat what they want to eat with Santa Claus and Grandma. It's okay if they're not ready to start the reset over the next 10 days because they've got family gatherings. They're using, 100 pounds of sugar to fix everything they're cooking, and that's okay. So give them the freedom to enjoy the moment. Just like I told people, I said you can be tired and grouchy and want to lay on the couch for one day. You get my blessing for tryptophan to kill you and wipe you out on the 4th Thursday in November, but you can't claim tryptophan every day. And it's the same thing with Christmas. You got some time here. Be with family, enjoy it. But this too has to come to an end. Let's go ahead while the special's going on through December the 15th. Let's get the products you need, the things you want to start your reset, and join us in the wellness reset or your team's reset, whatever it looks like, in January. But I want you to get the special right now. So the special gives you a reason to reach out to them before Christmas, even if they're not going to, start some of the detox and changes in their diet. They're not going to do that right now. It's okay. Don't chastise them. Tell them, give them permission to wait and give them the joy to enjoy the season, and let's do it together, okay? So love each and every one of you. Blessed to be on the call with you today. I would love to have some of you join us on Friday when Ethany and Christy and I really talk to you about the wellness reset and how you can participate in that. And actually, whether you're doing it with us or you're doing it, if you're on Terry's team, you're doing it with Terry, on Rhonda's team, doing it with Rhonda, and you all already have amazing groups established, what we're going to teach on Friday will help you build anticipation, momentum, and build up to kicking off the new year. If you start on January 1st, you are behind the 8 ball, and it's going to be hard to establish the momentum you need before the reset's over. Start now. If you're thinking abundance instead of, oh, I don't have any time left, it's Christmas. It's not Christmas yet. You can go ahead and wear red and green and put on your funny hats and jingle bells and all that stuff. But it's not time to stop yet. It's time to set the plan in place for the new year. I'm thinking like from the 15th, let's go from the 15th through the 25th. Let's take 10 days and just like enjoy everything about Christmas with family. And don't feel any guilt. But then the 26th, we're going to enroll and get people ready. And the January the 5th, we are Katie bar the door, okay? Hey, thank you for being on this call. And I hope you have a wonderful week. And I hope this Wednesday, hump day, is the middle of a great week for you. So be blessed. Thanks for joining. And there's more to come on Friday. So see you then. And I'm doing the men's call with Guy tonight. If you got any guys that want to be on the men's call, and I may mention about the book and stuff tonight. So if you want to get people on the men's call, you can do that, okay? See ya.